Okay, first, it's 7:30 on September 17th, 2024. And it's the Conservation Commission. We're going to start the public forum part of our meeting. We need to approve the August 20th, 2024 minutes. Does anybody have any questions, changes, anything?
No.
Okay. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We need to, I thought we had to approve this, but the Whitman Express subscription for a year, $27. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Yep.
Yep, anyone. And we have payroll for the pay ending date 8/24/24 and 9/17/2024.
No, thank you.
824?
8/24/2024 and then 9/17/2024.
Okay, thank you.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and I didn't print it out, but I had. So the gentleman that we visited, 190 School Street,
190.
he emailed me, I think I forwarded you guys the email.
I don't think I got it.
Not yet.
Okay. Maybe I forwarded it from my town email to myself and then I forgot to forward. Anyway, so he had said in the email that a few years ago, that George Porter, former chair, had gone by and talked about the wetlands, the fence, and all what we had seen earlier. And he was asking if there's any documentation. We don't have any. I just need to forward him the wetlands map site so he can look at it to see the little piece. There, and I looked on our master list. We have one notice of intent back from 1994. It says School Street, but it doesn't say the number. So he was looking for any documentation or anything for, I guess his house was built in 1994. So he was trying to find anything. So that's what I was looking for.
Could have been.
And I can't find it. Doesn't mean we don't have it, but our files are not in the best shape right now. So, and apparently a family, which way would it be? East, up across the street and up that, he had said we're dumping leaves and stuff like that. And, but DPW didn't follow up on it. So, I don't know what we can do about that, but, so we'll just keep him in the loop and just, I'll send him the website, and then I still have to talk to Whitney at DEP about it, because she's the one that also had called me and emailed me about it.
190 sent the complaint or 180 sent the complaint?
I think 190 is the actual address. 180 was the complaint.
Okay.
So we have to look at both sides. So anyway, then I got a call yesterday from Pat Schaefer from Schaefer Construction. He lives in Rockland at Sandpipe Condominiums. So behind him, so he's near Beach Street, where the Girl Scout thing is. So part of it was like Spring Street and Beach Street, and he thought it was the McCarthy Family Trust that owned it, which would be Rockland. But when he got a hold of the Rockland Conservation Commission, they said it was our property. So another thing, I'm gonna have to talk with Whitney at DEP because we own it, but I don't know if that part is the wetland piece and how would we enforce it besides just being a property owner, because we are not the Conservation Commission in Rockland. So another conversation Whitney and I are gonna have to
What
have.
was the complaint?
So the condos, they redid the patio pads, the concrete pads, and just took all the stuff and dumped it.
Oh, nice.
Some spoils.
Yeah, and then one person rebuilt their deck and did the same thing. So I don't even know. I'd have to, Google what this is because I'm not aware. But I can also talk to what's his name? Can't remember his first name. Jubert. He was on the Girl Scout, the CAC commission with me. So, and he's very
Close that door. Thank you.
knowledgeable about that area because his dad used to live over there before he passed away earlier this year. So
Thank you.
I know he has plenty of maps and stuff like that that could kind of help us. And he's got a 4-wheeler that we could, he can, take a drive by. I don't think he would mind. Let me see what else. Oh, and so 250 Stetson Street can go. I haven't heard anything from Nicole Willett for Constitution Circle because she had emailed me saying that they were going to start sometime soon, but I
Yeah,
told
the trees were down, the shed was out, they were gonna start.
yes, but they had a few more things to take care of. But and they might take down the deck, but they hadn't started anything yet. They had to wait till the guy was going to do the erosion control, and I haven't heard anything so far. So
Yeah, I sent pictures of 250 sets and I think you did a nice job.
yeah.
Now it's time to do it. It's as dry as you're gonna get.
Yeah, exactly. So,
You should be starting with it. That's my guess.
yeah. That's be the ideal time for Nicole and her husband to start that because it's like, get it started now, but don't have any control over that. So,
Also drove by lot 1 and 2 on Franklin Street, and that's starting to vegetate pretty well. They still need a good amount of water in the lawn, but at least it's getting there.
okay.
Got lucky with no rain.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't think they have a well, so that's what we don't have water restrictions in Whitman, but
We have too much water.
so that's all I got. Anybody else have anything? Oh yes, go ahead.
Oh, do you have?
No, I'm good.
Just quickly, last week I attended the Whitman Open Space and Recreation Planning Steering Committee meeting kickoff. I sent you guys the notes from that meeting.
Yeah.
So it is going to be an ongoing project. Jason, who's from Old Colony Planning Council, will probably be in contact with us to talk with our commission specifically. I think that would be good. And then they are looking to schedule another meeting in October. So he should be He may have in his follow-up meeting, his follow-up email even said something, I didn't quite read that part. But as of right now, they're just looking for folks to complete the survey. So we do have some postcards here. If you want to take some,
Sure.
we have a, one poster here.
Was the meeting here?
It was, yep, it's upstairs. Yep, Tuesday it was at 9:10. Yep. So, and he's looking for, as many people who want to be involved, who can be involved, so anybody is welcome for the next meeting. And then again, I'm hoping he'll talk with us specifically. And then just generally for the public, there is going to be a public meeting regarding the open space and recreation plan at the library on October 23rd at 6 p.m. And we do have some links to the survey, and there are hard copies of the survey available, or they will be available at the senior center and at the library as well.
Excellent. Awesome, all right. What's the number for 870?
But the DEP number?
Yeah,
340-0485.
0. Thank you.
Yeah, I will email Stephanie, and I think her last name's Pace. So she's the person for the middle school. So I just have to wait until, email her, let her know that until she's seen everybody, and if like the planning board has changes they want to any maps or anything, till they're done with every board, they can't come to see us. So once that's done, then we can schedule a meeting, which I plan on doing up in the main gallery or whatever you want to call it.
Can we schedule a site walk with the consultants first, or we wait till they're done with the planning board demands?
I'd rather wait till after the planning board, because if they make changes to the map, then
Okay.
so. But if you want to look at the maps, you're more than welcome, because I have a lot. They weigh probably close to 30 pounds.
How big are they?
They're big. I have 2 rolls, but then there's extra stuff in there. So
Portable.
yeah, I was like, I was gonna put them in the car, but then it's like, okay, then I have to like haul them down here, and it's like,
Right,
yeah.
yeah. We can.
Rooster. Rooster.
Oh, we did something in,
No, actually, it's not Rooster, sorry.
They do 10 year.
Infiltration helps, so they do it 1 year, 10 year, 100 years.
Oh,
Oh,
I see.
The plug and chug. Put it
I'm
in.
just used to seeing the 100 year. Because I thought that's what we did.
the least amount.
I want to make sure that I got 1 year, it doesn't come out late fall. 10 year doesn't come out late fall.
Six.
Okay, it is 7:45. We are going to start the hearing for 340-485, 870 Temple Street, Whitman. The applicant is Hamlin Orchard LLC, 966 Hyde Park Avenue, Unit 303, Hyde Park, Mass. 02136. The project is located at 870 Temple Street, Whitman. Hold on.
There's people out here, should I?
I probably
Yeah,
would, I would probably.
they want to come in.
Not my job, but I'll do it.
They,
Is this another proposal, a new proposal? And the last one?
No, it's the same line.
No, I'm just saying the last one was a two-story apartment building style, right?
That'd be a good guy.
This is what made 7 by 4.
This is what was approved from the ZBA.
So this is-
okay, we're having our meeting, so if you have any
Yeah.
questions, please wait.
Yeah.
Please take a seat. I'll wait till everybody is situated. There are some folding chairs back there if, and on both sides later, but yeah, I'll take those because I have to fold.
Okay, this is.
And do you,
Check for the ad,
okay,
Steve,
No.
and green cards.
okay, thank you. Okay, we are going to start the hearing, so I appreciate everybody. Be quiet, don't have private conversations. If you do want to talk amongst yourselves, please take it out in the hallway. So this is for 870 Temple Street. It's construction of 10-unit condo project. Carlton Garvey, CW Garvey Corp. is the representative from Whitman. We have a list of abutters. Can I have a motion to waive the reading of the abutters?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? So how we will proceed with this is Mr. Garvey will present the plans and everything. The Conservation Commission will ask questions. Once we are done asking questions, we will open it up to whoever wants. Please raise your hand, state your name and your address, direct the question to us, and then Mr. Garvey will answer whatever. We will go back and forth. And I think that's it. So, Carl?
Okay, thank you. Kyle Garvey representing Hamlin Orchards LLC, along with Edward Vera, and owner of the property, and Mark PE, who was the PE for this project. The property is located at 870 Temple Street, basically the existing condition, and contains 5.14 acres. It has 147 foot of frontage along Temple Street. It's 330 feet in width at the rear property line. That extends about 720 feet from Temple Street. The property slopes in a southeasterly direction from elevation 124 to approximately 103 at the southeasterly corner of the property. The property contains a wetland area of just over 1.3 acres that is mostly isolated and overflows to a wetland stream area and eventually towards Auburn Street. The plan that is in front of you have,
Do you have the small one? This is the smaller.
I just want,
Let's just follow on from here. Smaller version, but. And then, I'll be the number two. Yeah, right.
the plan in front of you tonight was approved by the zoning board with input from other departments for construction of 2 buildings. One building towards Temple Street containing 6 units. Second building a little bit to the rear. This section here is just a blow up of the front portion of the lot. So we're only utilizing the front 10% of the property, which is a 4-unit building here. Access will be through a parking area that contains 24 parking spaces. The units will be connected to town and water sewer coming in off of Temple Street. The hearing tonight is for the filing of a notice of intent under the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act. This project is being filed due to work being performed within the 100-foot buffer zone. The 100-foot buffer zone is this yellow line that cuts through unit number 5-6 and then eventually 8-7. So the reason we're here tonight is for work within the buffer zone. The majority of the work is outside of the buffer zone. There is no work within a vegetated wetland or any wetland subject to the Wetlands Protection Act. The topography for this lot is basically staying the same, which is, in this particular area is 120 with some sloping, with 3-to-1 slopes along this existing sloped area. A double sedimentation control barrier is placed around the work area, which consists of a 12-inch stock and fence, siltation fence. Also, there is a riprap apron at the front to prevent siltation onto Temple Street. A stockpile area and so forth. The total impervious area is 9.5% of the total 5.31 acres that is being collected. And this 9.3% is being collected through 3 different catch basins that will then be collected into manholes that will then be going into an infiltration chamber. So there's 1, 2, 3 basins. Also, the roof runoff is connected to this same infiltration basin from the gutters that will be connected to that infiltration basin. I will let Mark address the remaining portions of the stormwater that pertain to the site.
Hi everyone, Mark Alencar with MP Design Consultants. So the chamber's design is to adequately take care of all the water quality and water volume that's being generated by the additional impervious areas. So with all the stormwater reports that are provided along with the submissions on all stormwater events, we are decreasing or matching the existing pre-development of the peak flows, which is the maximum amount of volumes that comes out of this site. The chambers, they take care of all the water volume that is being contributed by this impervious area through a system of pipes and catch basins, which all are deep sump catch basins, which provides a better total suspended soils removal. That then goes into the infiltration system, which then comes out to a flared end section with the understanding of the sensitivity of the site. Instead of just directly discharging to the wetland, we added another small basin that would eventually overflow and slowly goes into the wetland on a stone protected area to prevent erosion from happening. So not just taking care of all the water volume and all of that, but also understanding the sensitivity of the area. We just didn't put this stone, the flood end section and the discharge point open to the wetland without having a proper protection. This is all modeled in our HydroCAD, which we submitted to the Conservation Commission as well as DEP. DEP did not have any further comments on the stormwater design. I'm assuming the Conservation Commission might have some questions that we'll address here today. But essentially, that's one major point that I wanted to bring it up to show that extra protection to that wetland area.
If you want else.
Just restating some of the facts on the 2-year storm, the 10 and the 25 and the 100-year storm. We're decreasing the peak runoffs on all of those peak runoffs. is essentially at whatever amount of storm, you know, at a 2-year storm, a 10-year storm, they produce the volume, right? And each site has a specific point that the volume of that water discharges to. So with Mass DP and the regulations on doing the stormwater design is that you have to decrease the amount of water that that site is generating. And that's what we're doing here with this design, is that the site before was all pervious. We added impervious area. However, with the additional of the impervious area, we're still decreasing the amount of volume that the site generates of water. So, yes, that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
You wanna
Do
go?
you want to go through the long-term stormwater management plan too? For the crowd, for
Yeah.
for everybody?
I don't have that printed out with me. The long-term LTPP.
Not sure.
That's that one, right?
So we have also sent this to the Conservation Commission. Essentially, the long-term pollution prevention plan, the LTTP, essentially requires maintenance and inspections to all aspects of the stormwater design to ensure that throughout the cycle of this design, it will be properly maintained, to make sure that nothing is clogging the drainage pipes, nothing will be clogging the outlet of the system, making sure that this is keeping without having erosion being done, so that it protects the wetland. So we have inspection and maintenance frequency for yard cleanouts, for storm drain pipes, for the flared end sections, for the drainage structures and subsurface infiltration systems. Of course, good housekeeping measures will be taken, such as snow management, pet and waste management control, vehicle washing controls. That's all listed on the LTP, which is the long-term pollution prevention plan that the owner is required to do it. Is there anything else? Did anyone specifically go?
I just want to make sure that everyone's got,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
part of the process, so.
Yeah. And there's inspection logs that the owner will have to go through. So for instance, yard cleanouts, they have to do a maintenance inspection annually. For flared end sections is quarterly, drainage structures is quarterly, and the subsurface infiltration system is twice a year.
And that's the owner, I think that's just wanted to
Yes,
check who
that's
was
the owner.
responsible. Okay.
The owners is responsible to doing this.
So the condo association, is that what you?
Yes, yes. So I'm not turning your back on you, just that our documents are here.
Questions? Go ahead.
Sorry. So, through the process, there is, in one section of the wetland report, there's mention of a certified bond pool somewhere in the wetland area.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go on Mass DOT's website, you can see it mapped in there, GIS-wise. I'm not sure how they did it. It's
Yeah,
not
that's right.
on your plan.
So the vernal pool is within the wetlands, right? It's within the wetland.
Yep.
And when you go through the Wetland Protection Act, essentially the vernal pool, when it's all by itself, not in a wetland area, and then it creates a buffer zone for its protection of the wetland. Once it's inside the wetland area, basically the wetland has a greater protection within that footprint of that vernal pool. We don't have that shown in there.
It's something like, I have plotted it, but
Oh, okay. So,
if you look on the Mass GIS site, but, by coordinates, it's basically located in this area behind the Quinlan property, just south of the Bell property. Based on the coordinates of the building, it was 370 feet off the corner of this building and
The existing
340. Pardon me?
The existing building.
Yeah.
Okay, the
Yeah,
one-
yeah, three, so it puts it within this particular area here.
Yep.
Which is basically protected by the existing wetland. This wetland line does not go over to the Bell Quinlan property, but I believe it would still be probably protected in some type of loop.
I think any changes to hydrology in the wetland area could have impacts on the vernal pool. I mean, it's dry in some areas, wet during other seasons. Any changes on overland flow and infiltration, I think you're gonna find that you could impact it.
We're not changing the hydrology, neither the hydraulics. Hydraulics we're not changing because there's no pipe connections or anything. Hydrology
Well,
is,
there's an overflow.
well, there is an overflow that will only happen in certain very rare circumstances.
If it's not properly maintained.
Hydrology wise, all the flows is still coming to the wetland. So even if this overflow wasn't here, the flow of water will still be making to the wetland. And this happens at a slow rate. So that's the reason why we did it, that we have a basin prior to the discharging, just the flare end section.
You can make an argument that could be less overland flow now because you're infiltrating more,
Yes, yes.
which could have impacts to a vernal pool that is typically has to have water at certain areas of time and dry at certain areas of time to allow the nesting creatures.
Yeah, the amount of water that's actually getting to the wetland, right, on this development here, like he said, it's only about 9% of the whole site. Right?
Understand?
So it's a much lesser area than,
Of the developed portion of the site, how much is impervious?
yeah.
Of the developed, is it less than an acre, I assume?
Oh, this is, yes. Yeah.
Of that, how much is impervious?
Of this,
Yeah.
the impervious area is about,
Because it's 9% of the 5 acres.
yes.
But of the developed portion, I'm just curious how much is impervious.
I believe it's 0.3 acres. Yeah, it's 0.3 acres.
Of disturbance or impervious?
Oh, impervious.
Okay. Out of 0.9, is that, you have less than 1, so about 0.9 acres of disturbance?
Of disturbance?
Yeah, your total
Yeah,
area of
yeah,
disturbance.
0.9.
About a third of it
Yeah.
is going to be impervious.
Mhm.
I mean, I would love to see some kind of a statement or the only thing we have in the vertical entire report is 150 feet to 200 feet away from the site. The site's huge, right? It is within the site, maybe the disturbed area of the site or the developed area of the site. And then maybe a statement that says this development, in my professional opinion, will not impact the vernal pool. Something along those lines. Because right now, you're changing the hydrology of the site. You're infiltrating. What depth are you infiltrating? Do you have the depth of the windows?
Yeah, we have the depth of the system, yeah. The bottom of stone is at 109. 109 are, the grading around the wetland is at 103. So just to give you a perspective, the lowest grade on the wetland is 103.
Okay.
Our lowest grade of this is 109, so we made sure to keep a vertical separation.
In your report, you state that you have the soil exploration data.
I'm sorry?
You said soil subsurface exploration data.
Yes, yep.
Did you do subsurface explorations?
If we did what? I'm sorry.
Did you do subsurface exploration?
No, I believe we did test bits. I have to,
I think Carlos,
yeah, we did test bits in the area to confirm the infiltration.
Is there test pit logs in that report? I didn't see any.
Yeah, we didn't see anything.
Or
there.
infiltration records? I would say you're going off of a soil map, soil survey, which is fine.
No, I
But
believe,
you're banking on what the soil is 9 feet down on a map that's
no,
not there or photographs.
I have to go through,
Okay.
If we didn't do it, we'll do it. But
I thought Carlos did
I
it.
thought we did, yeah.
I remember asking.
Yeah, there isn't one on the stormwater report.
Okay. All right, yeah, it's just the location on the figures, logs, and infiltration data would be great,
Yeah.
just to match up. I know, I think in your calculations, I think you just use the generic sandy loam numbers rather than any concrete site specific. Okay. TSS removal, could you walk me through this table?
Sure. So the TSS removal is taking deep sump catch basin to another deep sump manhole, to another deep sump manhole, which then goes to the infiltration system.
Okay. So in here you have deep sump catch basin, hooded catch basin, which is, you have
Yeah.
3 of them, right, on the parking lot?
Yeah. On
Okay, and then you have an infiltration trench,
Yes.
and then you calculate that to 92%,
Yeah.
but if you look at the table, removal rate's 0.25, 0.25, 0.25, but if you're starting the starting TSS load on the surface here, right, that's 1?
This is an automatic table.
We understand, but this is not in the train, this is independent. So this should be 1, this should be 1. But
This could be, yeah, let's say, even if this is not here, it would still meet the more than 90% of the TSS.
but this is not correct.
Yeah, this will be 90%, right?
Well, I think you have 1 deep set sump, and then you go into a manhole, and then the infiltration trench. Catch basin to a manhole to the trench. So you're using catch basin, the catch basin, the catch basin. You're taking water from here,
Included these two. Yep, we have one more in here, correct?
but these manholes don't provide a deep sump. This is just pass-through drain manholes, right? This is a deep sump here.
No, these are also deep sump structures.
Not in the drawing on the figure, right? It's just a pipe in the bottom. There's no sump there.
Did we follow our own plans? Yeah, they should be, that detail is wrong. It should be spelled out here, water quality, deep sunk manholes.
Okay, but we gotta fix that on that. And then if we need to recalculate, because I think you're using a deep sump catch basin.
Yeah, should start.
This should be 1 and this should be 1.
Yeah.
So then you have 25% plus 80%.
This is automatically.
Yeah, this is gonna be in the 70s, not 90%.
We don't do any of these. No, this alone gives you 80.
This is a train though.
No. This allows you to calculate these two structure allows you to calculate it as a structure that's going to provide pre-treatment
Okay.
quality control. This here by itself gives you 80%.
No, I understand.
Yeah, so this is not gonna
We
be.
just wanted to see the specs for that right one, because right now, and I think this one's gonna be wrong too, because you said this was deep sump on the way out to the outfall.
Uh-huh.
And then, right now, it just shows it as a,
Yeah, the detail is wrong. Yeah, exactly. The detail's wrong.
Okay.
Which can be updated, which will
alright.
give the deep sump to all the structures, yeah?
And we were on the site inspection, there were 2 little, I don't know what you want to call sheds, or I don't know, they were little, at first I thought they were chicken coops, but they were. So they looked like little houses, but then nearby, there were hoses.
They were pump houses for the previous owner who watered the garden up top.
So you're just taking water out of the wetland, water on the top?
Yeah, Hamlin did, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Great, that was lovely.
Yeah, it seems, I mean,
I didn't know
I've
if
seen
the
them out
water
there.
was
They look-
going, I didn't know if it was
They're
going
quite
this way.
old, yeah,
They look old, but,
yeah.
okay.
Joe, do you have any?
Did you have dewatering plans on this at all?
Watering plans? No. Let's have on the. No, we don't, we didn't go over any of the dewatering plans.
Is dewatering in your scope?
I don't think it is.
No,
You don't think it'll be dewatering at all?
no.
So
Small development.
it would help, no, It's a small development, but the impacts are big, right? I mean, I think it could be big. You're very close to. I mean, how close?
Well, we are outside.
How close is your disturbance to the wetland area? The closest point.
The closest point of disturbance to the wetland area is.
I mean, I think you're removing 90% of a wetland buffer. So I think the
Yeah.
impacts could be large.
Because it's
We're
a,
not removing it.
It's not like it's a lawn where someone's just put in a pool where the buffer zone's gone. This is undeveloped.
yeah, and it slopes down and then you're gonna fill it.
So the reason, so all of our work is outside of, all
Right,
of our
that's
major
gonna
work is
impact.
outside of the 50-foot buffer zone, okay? Part of some buildings are within the 100-foot buffer zone. We are filling this area. The only reason why there's more contours here is in order to create this basin to allow the stage of water to go into the wetland. This is benefiting the wetland, right? So this is benefiting the flow of water into the wetland. Instead of just having a flared end section, water will just be, serving as an
It's
outlet.
benefited it based on the development. I mean, benefit would not do anything, right? So,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So these are contours down to
Yeah,
from the flared section?
Yeah, basically
'Cause it's-
contours come down and then the discharge at elevation 113,
So 115.
and then it stages up and then it discharges on the
it's
zone
gonna be
protected
like
area.
Pool here. Wait, to create that gradient, nice curve, you are, let's just say for 10 feet from a wetland boundary. At the bottom of the slope.
Yeah. It's allowed.
So it's allowed fill. Oh, it is allowed. Yeah. I know. I'm just saying. I mean, let's not. I mean, I agree that your buildings are outside the buffer zone, 75 feet, but I mean, you're still doing some pretty good work really close to it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say pretty good work. It's just soil. It's all going to be grass and seeded afterwards. So
I would suggest some kind of a deep footed still trench on your the one closest to it, especially not the whole way, but at least down where the slope is, because we've seen
another what? I'm sorry.
like a trenched silt fence, something that's more beefy than a silt sock staked every 20 feet.
Oh, okay, sure.
We all seen silt run right over the silt sock if it's going downhill.
Oh, we got.
Well, because it was buried. We didn't see it at that point.
Yeah.
Sure. Anything in mind that you guys have used and worked with?
Yeah, I mean, just a nice entrenched silt fence that's staked probably, every 5 feet.
Yep.
And I said, I don't think you need it the entire way. I think you need it on the areas where the,
What we used is a filter socks for the detail.
And a fence.
Yeah. With a fence. So
It's on stuff.
I didn't see the fence on your detail.
Yeah.
All I see is a sock.
Yeah, he just, oh, you have it, right? Yeah.
All I see is a sock.
Yeah, then he's showing a silk fence on the back.
Yeah.
This is the sock.
Yeah, I see the old Vapid sock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Can you just chat about snow removal on the site? Because you're going to be very limited where you're going to be able to put it. According to your long-term pollution plan, you cannot put it in a buffer zone.
Yeah, we have some areas here at the front of the site. We have some areas here for snow storage.
Oh, okay. Snow storage. Oh, down next to the dumpster?
Yeah, down here. This can be our snow storage. The dumpster will be enclosed within the perimeter of the pavement with curbs. So no water, from this area, it's all coming down this way into the catch basins. So the snow storage will be located here. And also, we could have some areas over here as well for snow storage, which we talked about during the zoning board of appeals as well.
Because you won't be able to salt any of that
Yep.
because of how close it is to it.
Oh, that would have to be part of
It is. It's
Your road.
yeah. It will be part of our boilerplate.
I just have one final question. When you put this long-term monitoring pollution pressure plan in there, what were the assurances does the community have that that's going to be followed, right?
Mass DEP has to regulate that. It's within their programs to regulate it. And also,
Well, what assurances do they have that these guys follow? Do you guys submit your inspection log?
they have to submit this logs to Mass DEP quarterly and annually.
Do they have a contractor come on that's trained in stormwater?
Well, the condo association would have to hire that person to do it. It would be part of,
It's going to be in the condo docs? Is it going to be part of the condo docs?
Mm-hmm, probably, yeah. That's what they'll have to do. If they do, yeah, they do the condos, yeah.
But how do we
it
make
should
sure
be,
it's
it should be in your special order of conditions also.
okay?
Copies of it would be submitted to the conservation commission.
Yeah, if the local conservation commission wants copies, that can be within your order of conditions.
Okay.
Typical of Title V septic, where you record them not only with the state, but with the local board of health.
Yep. Okay. I'm all set right now, Cindy.
Joe, do you have anything?
Yeah, just a couple questions about the units themselves. Do the units have basements?
Yes.
They do?
And do the units have external water access, like hose access?
What?
Do they have external water access, like could they hook up a big garden
Yeah,
hose or
it's like
something?
a holding this sides.
I don't. Not typically.
Yeah.
I don't- Yeah, not typically.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, we will now open it up to the public. So you will need to state your name and your address, then you could ask your question. Raise your hand, anybody?
Durant, 164 Joyce Terrace. Devil's advocate. Basins, catch basins, you're gonna have maintenance onto it. The people who are buying the condos will pay for that. It will be certified by, who again?
So when everything is complete, we come out and do a certificate of compliance, making sure that everything is seated and up to the plan. Then the condo association is responsible for maintaining everything, which is the snow removal, everything, making sure all the drains are working properly, that it's not, disturbing the wetlands more than, the plan is it can't increase flow to the wetlands. It can make things better, but it can't make things worse. So if water starts going to either side of the
The question
neighbor,
is what happens when it gets worse?
then this Conservation Commission or DEP gives the condo association a cease and desist order or whatever they need to do to get them to correct the situation.
Basically, it falls in your lap if things go.
We'll get a phone call probably, and then depending on what it is, then I'd need it.
You will be checking the catch basins, the drains, things like that.
That's the condo association.
Correct. Who's gonna check the vertical pool?
If somebody wants to give me a call, I can't, I get lots of phone calls all the time. I'm a volunteer, I can't be driving around.
We're hoping not to call you.
Yes, I would hope that as well, but my phone number is on the town website, so if there's an issue, then we will come out, or you can call DEP in Lakeville, talk to Whitney, the police, and she will call it, because I do have a town email. I probably check it once a week, just for the fact that I have a full-time job and other things in my life. But if I don't answer, give her a call. She calls me. I'm very familiar with her in the last year or so. So, yeah.
A lot of that's done through natural heritage too, as far as,
Excuse me?
if you're talking strictly about the vernal pool, it would be through national heritage and also the southeast region of DEP.
Yes, which would be Whitney. So. Yes, sir.
Hi, thank you. Alan Moles, 72 Sportsman's Trail. First of all, I want to say thank you for actually going out to this site. No other committee members actually gone out to this site, to this process, so kudos to you guys for doing that, so thank you. So kind of piggyback on the other conversation, I understand they have a log and everything that has to be submitted, and they have to make sure everything is followed. Let's say, for example, the log is not followed for 2 months. Are you notified also that they're not following the rules and regulations in the log and making sure that these catch basins are clean and those types of things? As part of
Well, that's not a 2-month standard. It's catch basins need something not like once a year.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean,
whatever the standard is, if they don't meet the standard, will you be notified they're not meeting the standard?
you know what? I presume we would be, but we, in the last years that I've been on commission, we have not had a condo that has this type of setup that would have to be maintained, things like that. So,
Can I give a little perspective about something? Just to give you guys perspective, Mass DOT highways, Mass DOT is now coming up with a program that inspects their catch basins annually, okay? And what they have found out is that some catch basins don't even need inspection annually or cleaning annually because of the 4-foot sump that they provide can actually accumulate a lot of sediment in there. And we're talking about highways that takes half an acre or more of impervious area with continuous cars coming through. Just to give you a little perspective to everyone, and anyone can Google this and they will find out that SCOT is just now coming up with an inspection program to meet their S4 standards.
that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. I have a couple more. Do you mind?
Yep, go ahead.
One of the other questions is, when the excavation starts on the site, how are we going to be sure, like, all the grading and everything? Because I understand these homes that are going in the back before, as you know, when you walk the site, that site slopes down. So is that going to be a level off grading, or is like the first unit closest to Sportsman's Trail is going to be higher than the other unit? How are we going to be assured that when all the grading is done, it's not going to actually affect the actual wetlands and things like that when the grading's happening?
Well, one of the first things that has to be done in this property is the layout of the siltation barrier that goes around the area that is not going to be disturbed. Only it goes around the area that's being excavated. Other than that, all of these units have a grade on them, top of concrete 121, basement floor 112. I mean, these are going to be adhered to during construction. The catch basin grades all have elevation 119. They have where the rim grade is, where the deep sump is, where the invert out is. I mean, all this is going to be under controlled construction. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that going to be, where the 4 units are in the back, is that going to be now level, or is that going to go down like the current land?
It's there. Those are walkouts, and those have decks above, and where these over here are not walkouts in the back, they're patio areas.
But my question is, if the first unit closest to Sportsman's Trail, is that going to sit higher
No.
than the last unit, or is it going to be
On the
flat?
figure, it all looks like it's top of concrete 121
Yes.
all the way across.
It's going to be what, all the way across?
So it looks like top of concrete 121, basement 112. It's flat all the way.
Just think of those units as like a retaining wall. So the foundation for the units are going to serve as a
And
retaining
it's
wall.
going to go down like this?
No, that's going to go
The
here.
earth is going to go down around it.
Yeah.
The units can be level.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
And during this whole process, before they can even start,
yes.
they have to put up a sign. And just so you know what the sign has to say, it'll say DEP 0-0485. 340 is Whitman's DEP number. They have to put the sign up before anything can start. Then they have to put all the erosion control out. Then we come out and inspect it. If we don't like it, they can't do anything until they fix whatever we want them to fix. Then throughout this process, and Carl will tell you, we drive by and check and come, if it's a windy day, if it rains, we go by to make sure everything's in place. Otherwise, everything stops, it gets fixed, then they can proceed. But they can't proceed until we come out and give them permission to start again. If they violate anything, we have the power to issue a cease and desist order.
Now, is that before any major
It's
excavations?
before everything starts.
Everything starts?
Yeah, before anything can start, he has to call us. We go out and
It's-
look at it, and if it's not the way we want it, they have to fix it until it's the way we want it, then they can proceed. But then periodically, whether they're there or not, we go by and check everything.
Okay, all right. I just have a couple more, I'm sorry,
Yep.
I'll stop.
Yep.
One thing about, I'm just trying to understand the buffer zone and everything else. So if I'm looking at this now, what I'm learning tonight, is roughly the 10-unit project, let's just say roughly, there's 6 units that are in the buffer zone. Is that kind of,
They're not,
are they,
well,
is that what we're kind of,
3 units in the buffer zone.
Yeah, it would be.
these 3, yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to, you're cutting a building in half, so.
Yeah, this unit, one building on the front, 6 and 2 on the.
Almost 3 entire ones and 2
Yeah.
partial.
Yeah.
2 partials. You're cutting the building in half, so I'm just,
But they are,
right,
but they're removing the buffer zone from what it is now.
correct. I mean, you can't, you're cutting through a house, you're cutting through another house. So essentially it is 6 over 4.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't get your name at the end.
Leanne McKenzie.
Leanne, you mentioned about outside faucets and water.
Yes.
So are you now saying that we are not going to allow them to have outside spigots on their properties?
No, I was just wondering if they were planning to build that into.
Are they allowed to? Because that's going to increase the water.
Yeah, I don't, as you said, it.
I think these, in most of the places,
Water that's gonna be.
they don't, like there's a condo place on Franklin Street.
Right.
They have a maintenance guy that takes care of that. So I think there's a place on the property that has water. But in talking with him, the residents are only responsible for inside the buildings.
Correct.
They cannot do anything on the outside. That's the maintenance of the condo association.
Yes.
So wherever they're going to put, whether they put sprinklers, or whatever, it's not going to be every single one of those units is going to have a hose. That's not how it works.
Okay. That's okay.
But we don't have the individual design of the units.
I probably would say that, I would say that you wouldn't be able to wash a car here because
Yeah.
it impacts right to the way.
That's-
And I think that would be part of our CO2.
Right, that's kind
Yeah.
of what my concern is, that
They might have sprinkler systems for the.
you have 10,
the
that's
lawn.
10 sprinklers.
I would say they wouldn't be able to wash.
I believe it's this building here that has a little 4 by 2 foot jog, which is for the fire department. It's their own little hookup, and there would be one on, because it's a 4-unit building and a 6-unit building, they would have access to the water department. I mean, for the fire department.
And your roof drains go subsurfacely into the infiltration area?
Yes, roof drains, yeah.
Do you have any other questions?
I'm almost done. Because something came up I don't understand. If you look on your plans at the end, is coming out of the drainage system, is that a pipe system coming out at the very end?
Where?
I'll get up. What is this coming out of here? Is that just a,
Oh, that's just a stone wall.
it's just,
That's there right now.
oh, okay.
Right front.
What's that?
That is here, this is what you would.
Yeah, that's stone wall.
Is that the stone wall?
The old
Okay.
stone wall that's
Okay.
out there, yeah.
That's okay. Thank you for your time.
Anybody else? Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce Gadden, 52 Sportsman's Trail. I brought this up before, but I'm still very concerned about the fact that you it doesn't appear you're leaving any of the trees that are there now. This is a heavily, there's a lot of vegetation. And it looks like you're gonna be taking out a lot of vegetation. And I'm concerned that you're actually gonna be taking out more than what's even shown there. Because when you're developing a site, I mean, I'm no expert, I've never done it, but I mean, we've all seen it done. And you have to work beyond what you're doing in order to accomplish what your task is. I mean, it isn't gonna be done that neatly as far as when you're under construction. So how many trees and how much vegetation you actually gonna be taking out of this? When Sportsman's Trail was developed, many years ago,
Yeah.
well, they did it old school. They only took down the trees that they needed to take down. Matter of fact, the residents of Sportsman's Trail, I think, have cut down more trees than the contractor did when he built the development, which we appreciate because we have a very nice neighborhood with a lot of nice tree-studded lots. And that's why we're probably all here, the same as folks down on Joyce Terrace. They've got some different concerns because they're down slope of this whole thing. We're up on a ridge, especially where my house is. I'm on a ridge. I'm right next to that piece that comes out the jug there. But I am concerned because that also is going to affect the water table because you're not going to have all of that vegetation sucking up all that water now. So I understand the engineering and it's quite interesting and all, but I'm not sure if it's all going to work exactly as we say it's going to work.
Well, I mean, we do have excess area behind the units. This is the area that will be laid out that the Conservation Commission is going to come out and witness and say, that is the limit of our disturbance. That's what that is.
So excavated.
The zoning board also created a buffer strip in here that's was at the zoning board hearing that this building is 63 feet from the property line. We tried to keep a 50-foot, at least a 50-foot buffer within that area. And the majority of this area, all of this area right here that you're looking at is not within the buffer zone. I mean, technically, they could go out there tomorrow and cut every tree.
It looks like they're going to.
Well, they're not cutting these
Oh,
trees.
no, not those trees. Well, that's what I'm hoping they're not going to do.
Well, that's what this shows, limit of,
So,
it shows a
They
limit.
cannot go outside the limit of disturbance for any reason.
Yeah,
okay.
no machinery, nothing.
So once they mark where the disturbance is, they're gonna put their hay bales, silt fence, a few feet on the inside of that marking, and they cannot go on the outside of that,
Okay.
so.
So you don't plan on cutting down any trees outside of that, outside the work zone?
No.
No, they can't. Because this
If
is
we
the
do, they
plan.
file a cease and desist,
Yes,
and then there's a penalty through DEP and.
you get fined. It's the one time we get to fine people. It's like, and
You know, and we asked, I mean, if you feel the trees are leaning toward new construction, you gotta come back and see us about anything
Yes.
in the areas that you need. You think, oh, that one's suspect, that one's suspect. We've had people in the past say, that was leaning, so we took it down upon themselves, and of course, we wanna be
Yeah, I want to be.
part of that conversation.
yeah.
Well,
Yes.
Yeah, and there may be trees, say, within this area, we're not doing any grading within this area, we're not looking to take down trees that don't have to be taken down. I mean, if
Well, that would
there's a beautiful tree there, then we're gonna leave it there. If you take a tree down, you take the stump, and they're gonna pay for that. So,
Well, is it something that we can, that's a very good point. If there are trees that you don't need to take down, will you not take them down? I mean, sometimes some developers want to just clear the site because it makes it easier. Can we
we're not gonna go out and mark trees right now to say which ones are gonna be saved. That'll be done when we, put this silt fence out and so forth. If the tree is where the building's going, the tree's coming down.
Well, of course.
No doubt about that.
Absolutely.
If it can be saved, we will save it, and they don't have to take it to the stump dump.
I'm not trying to be unreasonable, I'm just trying to, certainly, if it's within the building or the parking lot or whatever, I mean, it's gonna have to come down, but if there are trees that you're able to leave, and they're not going to affect things, then why not leave them?
Yep.
Right.
Yep, because it costs them money,
Yeah.
because they have to grind it. Well, first they have to have a company come out and cut, then grind to change. So it's in their best interest not to do that.
Yes.
The bottom line.
It'll soften the site anyways, as far as it blending into I mean, you got two neighborhoods there, you got, Church Terrace, you got Sportsman's Trail, and actually three, because you got Temple Street. So, I mean, you're affecting, quite a few different people here.
Yes. Ma'am?
I'm Lynn, 190 Joyce Terrace. I wanted to say thank you to the committee for coming out and doing a site visit also, because this is one of those instances where I think you need to see it because it's so unique. And I don't really have a question, but I do just want to reiterate concerns about the water. Half of my yard already floods, and now building this way, I'm concerned about having no backyard. So I'm glad we do have some recourse as far as calming, but my concern is once it's done, and once the damage is done, it's done. There's nothing we can do about it. So I do hope this is all done properly. So,
Well, one of the things as this process goes and building, if things move forward, if things change on your property, give us a call.
okay.
Either call town hall. If you don't have access to the internet or whatever, they can give you my phone number and we will come out. So
Thank you.
that's I was going to say, that's what we get paid for, but we don't get paid. So that's our responsibility. So, anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
This is Naruto 836 Temple. Kind of a new thing. I've noticed we've had a lot of, I don't know if anyone else has seen them, the rats running around. They're coming out of the sewer gutters and coming out of the street. And we've been finding them out in the street dead. Not saying that this project is, but it might, with all the water, be pushing them back out into the street even more, and
You'll need to call DPW for that because, what?
And the Board of Health.
And the Board of Health, because they haven't even started construction. So if you're having an
I'm
issue,
just saying,
yes.
the water and everything,
Right.
more neighbors.
But
They just did that last one down the street, it drove all the rats up towards them.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, I definitely called the Board of Health and have them.
Well, there's a house on the site that has to be knocked down. Part of the demolition thing is to be setting traps for any rats. It's also, they have to do testing for any insulation fiberglass or anything like that that has to be removed from the site. And so you now just can't go in there and knock down a house without a demolition permit. And there are all 3 or 4 different agencies that have to check off on it. So.
And also, once the development is there, on the long-term pollution prevention plan, pest control is one of the items.
Okay.
Just wanna.
Anyone else? Yep.
Lynn Lowell, 72 Sportsman's Trail. I got a question on this whole water system thing that's going in. How much experience? I mean, I feel like there's been a lot of iffy answers. And yeah, I think so, and this is what's supposed to happen. And I mean, have you ever put one of these systems in, and have you had any experience with it, or is this all a new venture? I mean, I kind of get the feeling, like, my gut feeling is that it's an experiment.
Yeah.
I know that every site is different, I understand that.
Yeah, these systems, I'll try to respond to the best way possible. These system, Coltex, I'm sure I think everyone in the board here has seen them. So both the senior engineer that's worked with us and me, we have over 30 years of experience. We have installed many of these, and on sites that are very constrained, they seem to work the best because the way that they are underground. And also they provide the recharge, the amount of water that infiltrates into the soil. It's a better rate. If going back to your question that you had about the water table elevation, we also have to do a calculation for that on our stormwater design that it recharges enough water to what the impervious area is being constructed on. So to your question, to answer your question, is we have many years of experience, and this is the best system that it could fit, and it could also give the best possible outcome to the site and how constrained we are with everything. Or else we would have to be doing grading and more grading around the site, disturbing more land to come up with a system that would work. So yes, we understand that this is the best design for this development.
My office has also used those when Sweezy did his development with the two buildings down on Bedford Street next to McDonald's, who also has the Caltech system. Across the street from that are two other warehouses that we installed the Caltech system in. We've been using them around this town. The only reason you might not be familiar with is because they put them in 3 or 4 days and they're backfilled and they're under the pavement and nobody realizes they're there. So I've used them and Mark has used them on several projects, and they're fairly acceptable by DEP, and they're recommended by DEP.
Yeah, one of the questions that one of the facts that I wanted to state here as well is that we submitted this to the state as well, right? And they had no comments to our design, no comments to anything that we've done here. So just to give perspective that.
I mean, the Coltex work.
Yeah.
The soil's acceptable water. I just want to see the logs, the test pit logs.
Yeah.
And then if you saw modeling, the high water table, if you see something that's strained up there, it's all should be in a log.
Yeah.
Just maybe
Soil evaluator will make sure to write those logs and be there.
in some kind of infiltration test. Okay.
Sorry, did you have any more questions, ma'am?
On a different note, there are so many trees being taken down. Do we have any resource of retreeing? I know a lot of people do that. They take trees down, they put trees up. I don't know if there's a way to do something like that, because it is a concern that, when you take all those trees out, and I understand the miraculous water system is going to take care of most of that, but trees do a lot too, not only for the water, but for the entire environment. So I just didn't know if there was any system like that in place.
Oh, we can't per se, like you need to plant these so many trees, but in their plan, they
I know
do.
they're doing some stuff around the edges, I understand.
Yes.
I mean, we have proposed plantings along the abutting properties in through here of shrubbery, and that was dictated also within the zoning board of appeals decision.
I'm sorry, you're putting any in the back also where you're taking most of the trees down?
No.
Yes, sir.
I just want to be
Can
clear.
you repeat your name?
Yeah, Bruce Gatton, 52 Sportsman's Trail. I just want to be clear about the drainage thing. It's true that each one of those 3 drains is a deep well, you said. That water is draining into the ground, but then and correct me if I'm wrong, that water is draining into the ground, and then when it reaches a certain point, it drains out into the swamp area, right?
No, it doesn't drain out of the 3 deep sump catch basins. Those are solid. They have a.
So it's not like a leaching field.
No.
It is.
No, I mean,
the catch basins.
This is the detail of the 3 catch basins, which they call a deep sump catch basin that catches silt. It allows any oil, gasoline that floats so that it doesn't go out into the system. This then will flow to these chambers. Okay, and they infiltrate.
Yes.
Bruce.
This has to be, the water that goes in here is clean based on this.
It's a tight box,
Yeah,
it's 4 feet of freeboard, punched up, and then the
Okay.
background.
And then what was, and the reason to this is so that any.
So I was thinking that they were gonna, it was going to allow water to drain into the soil, but only when we had like a flood situation, it would.
In that big area.
It would go into the big area.
That's where it's going to be.
Okay, anyone else?
Good question.
Yes, sir?
On 164 Joyce Terrace, a rebuttal. The DEP is going to maybe change the rules that will not have the inspections annually, be biannually, or if they don't need them at all, or something to that effect. I'd just like to get that clarified. But is there any way that this commission could make it mandatory that they're checked at least annually?
I think in our order of conditions, we're gonna have to say that they're gonna have to follow the plan they have.
Yeah.
And then, which says quarterly, biannually, and annually, different inspections for different parts of the system. So, in that certificate of compliance is gonna refer to that order of conditions that you have to follow this. If you don't, then you get a cease and desist order from that data.
Everything has, and all these documents have been sent to DEP. And before they issue the number, which they gave, the 3400485, they review all the plans. There's everything. So they go through all of this, and before we even get a number, sometimes they will put questions in, da-da-da-da-da. They have to then respond to DEP first with their questions, and then even when we issue an order of conditions or whatever, DEP can come back and go, no. And they can say, we're taking over and give the site a superseding order, which then we have no control over, which has happened recently, and then they gave it back to us. But it has happened more than once to the town since I've been on the commission. So if we miss something, DEP will reject stuff and ask questions, and we just we do the best we can. So we're not engineers, so
Just, thinking 5 years from now, it slips through the cracks, does not get inspected, and then we have an issue. Really don't want an issue.
either do
I do understand this is not 128, this is not someplace that's just a map dot, this is our home.
I understand.
And it's a very, very peaceful, quiet home, and we like to keep it that way. We do not want to have to be calling you up and saying, please come down. I really would rather not.
Yes, ma'am?
Linwell, 72 Sportsman's here. I have a question. This record that we keep, do we have to wait for there to be a problem, or can somebody go in and see if the record's being kept?
You can request from DEP
Okay,
because we won't have those records.
right. That's fine.
So
Yeah.
I can give you
Records what, I'm sorry, what were you asking?
To make sure that somebody's checking these.
The maintenance.
Before we have a problem.
The maintenance records.
We just said that they,
I know what you said.
A copy could be
I understand
sent.
what you said. I'm asking if, as a private citizen, I can make sure it's being done.
you can call DEP
Thank you.
and you talk to Whitney McLeese is our representative right now. So you can just go on DEP website, look for the southeast, and it'll list her name and her phone number.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am?
All day, 48 Sportsman's Trail. I just have a question about between the two neighborhoods. What about the privacy for the abutters? I mean, I know you have a buffer and all that, but you're putting this in the middle of two beautiful neighborhoods. And these people that are abutting.
Do you have a fence or you just have the bushes?
no, we don't. I mean,
Because I can't see that part.
this is the whole site here. We're only working within this. This stays in its natural condition. It never goes past 52, 64. Doesn't even come close to 64, 72, 84, 52. And there's a 50-foot buffer that was left behind, Dion Family Realty Trust. Those are the only ones. I mean, there's nothing here. It stays like it is.
You said they're the only ones, but they've lived here all these years.
It looks about 50 feet is going to be left unremained between what one, well, four
And there-
portions.
And there are new trees also being proposed to help mitigate that.
Yeah. Oh, and the figure though, I think the question before was if the new trees are going in the back and living in the disturbance, and the question was no.
No.
Only up by the,
Front, yeah.
okay, all right, unless you're saying you're gonna put trees back there, which would make these people very happy.
Well,
Why are you gonna put trees in here?
Yeah,
these are
no.
all trees.
Because, you
have to
know,
cut down
50
trees
feet,
to put
it
trees in.
could be one tree, that 50 foot, right? That big oak tree could be one tree and then you'll just be, that's why, I think looking for some
This
privacy
area-
tree.
This area here is not within, nothing in here is within the buffer zone.
I understand, and you know what their concerns are.
I know, yeah.
Yeah,
but
Yes, ma'am.
it could be worse.
No, I get to choose who gets to talk. So, ma'am? You,
Said,
yeah,
you want me?
yes, well, you raised your hand.
So
So.
I did, Lynn Moles. My question is, I think part of the concern is that these are all ranch homes and you're putting townhouses behind them. I mean, people are gonna be up in there, I mean, these people have had their privacy. You have to understand why we're worried about the privacy and the trees going in. I mean, these are ranch homes that are not gonna have this townhouse looming over it. I mean, and
Well-
that's the concern about whether or not they're putting the trees in.
Well, that has nothing to do with
I realize
us.
that has nothing to
So,
do with you, but I'm just explaining why.
that's another thing. Please limit it to the
Well,
conservation.
Well, that is part of the conservation.
No.
Because it's
So, we control, our
Right. No, I
duties
understand.
are for the wetlands.
Right.
And that's
But-
conservation. It has nothing to do with
I understand
the buildings. That was part of the appeals process. So only direct your questions to what
that. Okay,
we,
I was just explaining part of our concern.
I
But I
understand.
also am more concerned about the disruption of all those trees and what it's going to do to all our land. In our
Yes.
basements.
Well, if there is an issue, again,
Once it's in, what are you going to do? Take it down?
you need to contact us. I can't foresee, I don't have a crystal ball. So, sir, you had another did you have another question?
Yeah, I do. Alan Moles, 72 Sportsman's Trail. You understand this process better than we do. So if you grant the acceptances and get the ball rolling, so to speak, what are we looking at, like a timeline on this? Is this something we're gonna see in the next 2 years? Because you're talking,
We don't know.
well, you're talking
when-
about all these guidelines and back and forth and stuff.
Oh, so for this, so they get an order of conditions. They have 3 years to complete the process. If they are not done with those 3 years, then they have to file for an extension for another 3 years. If the project is done before those 3 years, they can ask for a certificate of compliance. The certificate of compliance in that is our boilerplate of what the order of conditions. They have to everything needs to be vegetated, and it can't be weeds. It can't be just, the weeds are vegetation. No, it has to be, and it can't be like, here's nice green and here's a bunch of dirt. It has to be filled in, it has to be complete, and it has to go with our order of conditions. If that does not meet, we tell them, go back and replant, oversee, because we've done that several times to not just developers, but people that just build a house. It's like, you're not getting a certificate of compliance until you meet the guidelines the order of conditions that we have set forth.
So the order of conditions is within 3 years, basically, in short.
It's
Yeah, 3 years, and it's all, the order of conditions is recorded at the registry of deeds.
Yes.
Which puts protection on what the developer has to do. He must obtain a certificate of compliance. In this particular case, you have 10 condos. There could be 10 different attorneys. They're gonna want certificate of compliances prior to the sale of any unit. in this particular site, they're not gonna finance it, so, there's quite a bit of
All
protection.
right, now that's appreciated. Gives an idea that, you're looking at a 3-year project.
Yeah, there's a process. I mean,
Yes.
anyone else?
Thank you.
Yes, sir?
James Quinlan, 190 Joyce Terrace. My question's for the gentleman at the end that's educated us all on the catch basins. All the information that he's given us tonight and in prior meetings with other committees. And you seem to have an awful lot of knowledge, so my question is your company, because I don't see your company on my copy of the plans, gonna be there through this entire process?
Yes.
So your company's, you're gonna oversee that part of this. So
Yes.
all the knowledge you brought here,
Yes.
you're gonna apply that
Yes.
in the real world.
So the certificate of compliance,
Yeah.
going back to the certificate of compliance that they're stating,
Yeah.
it comes from us.
And your company is what
We are the ones saying, yes, this is meeting this standard, yes, this wasn't, the infiltration system was installed properly per plans. You know, these elevations are what we designed for. So everything that's done on site, we will be there to making sure that everything's done appropriately.
And your company name is?
MP Design Consultant.
MP?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's it, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, we will, we need to continue this for the fact that we have things that need to be submitted again from our questions. And once we have that, I turned off my phone. What's the next? I don't have a calendar.
Right, you write
So,
it down.
can you do the calendar?
Yes, in about
So much.
6 pages of,
Oh, okay. You can,
yeah, I'll get together something more saying.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
we'll go through it.
October. So October 1st, we will continue this hearing until then. You will not get another notice for this meeting, for that meeting. The first one you get, it's published in the paper, and if you're a butter, you get the certified green card. For any continuance, you do not, so just be aware of that. So it will be October 1st at 7:45, right here.
I do have one other question.
Sure.
Bruce, got me figured this was Mr. Is this the last board that
Yes,
they go through?
yes. We're the last stop in the process. That's why it's like if anybody tries to go someplace else and, oh, we haven't done that, it's like, well, we're not gonna listen. And we won't hold a hearing until everybody else has done their thing and like the appeals board or anybody has made them change their maps or anything else, designs.
So can I ask, through you, is this a project that they want to start before winter, or is this going to start in the springtime?
Carl, when is
When is the next hearing?
well, when do they want to start? Once,
Well, by the time this board writes an order of conditions, and then there's a 10-day appeal period, I would think it would probably start late fall.
yeah, October, whatever. And you can't, once we issue order condition, there, like Carl said, there is a 10-day period. So if you want to file something with the state, that is up to you, and then you can file it with the state, and then that's when they could possibly do a superseding order in this appeal process. So you would have, and there's a fee. So I don't know exactly what the fee is off the top of my head. Let me see if it's in my order. I think. So if you want to file an appeal, It's a $245 process. And what you can do is if you go on the state website and look up form WPA Form 5, which is the order of conditions. It's a blank form on the website, but that's what we use to fill in. And then the back, F. So it gives you instructions of how to appeal and the whole process. And then there's forms and all that. But that would be what you'd have to do if, once we issue an order of conditions, you would have the process that you would have to take.
One final question, I hope.
What's your name and that?
Which, yes.
Mike Fitzgerald, I'm at 856 Temple.
Thank you.
I wonder if we all have access to these prints and plans? Do I have access? Can I have a look? I'm a little late to the party, I apologize. But
We usually don't. I could make you. I guess we could make
Can I
copies,
ask another
but we'd have to.
Did CS7 prints? Did you get a copy?
You won't. That's not part of the process.
Not part of our process here.
That's what this is. That you come and you listen at the hearing and you see the. You're welcome to come up and.
Come look at the plans. Pretty simple.
Make it simple, thanks.
As somebody, there is.
Absolutely. That's where I got these from.
Yeah, okay.
I'm the guy that made these copies. I made a handful. And I gave them out when we first came into, but I didn't have enough for everybody here.
But you're welcome to take a picture of his plans. But those are the plans. I mean, that we can't give you our plans because they're
No, I
our plans.
understand. I'll give Mr. Garvey a call and I know where to find him. Great.
Anybody else before we?
Brian has them at his house too, no.
I have too many plans.
Okay, so, yep.
Question, Sandra McCarthy, 92 Swiftens Trail. So is there any, it looks different than the last time we had the zoning meeting. So just wondering, is there any fence on either side of those properties or like on Temple Street? Or is it just the vegetation?
No, it's proposed stockade fencing.
It's a what? I'm sorry.
Proposed stockade fencing?
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
The neighbors on either side.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of the zoning board. We didn't really, the only change to this plan is that we gave elevations on catch basins and showed more, but it's the exact same plan.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be the exact same plan.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because the building department has to issue.
it looked different than what you guys had.
Yeah, so, well, we probably use different colors.
The colors.
Yeah.
It was.
Okay, so we will continue this to October, what was it, 2nd?
October 1st.
October 1st, 7:45, right here. And we will, meet then and go over. You're welcome to come back and ask more questions, so.
Could you tape any? Did you tape? Yeah. Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, as far as knowing what
Well,
you want.
I got a list.
Okay.
Well, it's a committee, as a whole, we're a team.
yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for your time. The commission will send us some of your questions for us to address, or is it just gonna come out on the meeting minutes and we'll go through it and sieve it through it?
No, right.
I think we could put together a list of kind of bullet points.
Sure.
Yeah.
That way what we typically do, we do a response to comments letter that addresses your exact issue and what page it's being addressed on. For the hard copies, can we just give you the hard copies of what's changing? If anything changes, so let's say for the detail, can I just print,
I mean, I threw over them, but,
Yeah, we'd like a new, we don't need a whole new map,
but just like
But
the
the-
purge that's changing?
but,
some of these.
but yeah, let's do a whole new set.
Yeah, well, the detail of the drain
Yes.
tunnel is gonna change the detail sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just a new.
And then the test bed location they're gonna put on there.
Yeah,
So
we'll
that's-
put that on there, yeah.
So they.
Yeah, it's only 4 pages. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
worried
just-
when it's like 15, 20 pages.
No, yeah.
Yeah, that's easy to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We should be okay there.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. Thank you.
Alrighty. So it's 9:00, don't stop it yet. It's 9:05 on September 27th, or 17th. We are continuing the meeting and we're continuing the hearing and we're closing the meeting.